You're 38 years old. You have a good job. You've never missed a mortgage payment. You max out your 401k match every single year, just like your HR department told you to. And yet, somewhere in the back of your mind, there's a quiet, nagging fear. What if doing everything right still isn't enough? You picture yourself at 67. Maybe you're still working. Not because you love it, but because you have to. Maybe you're staring at a number in your retirement account that looked huge at 25 and feels terrifyingly small now. Here's the part nobody tells you. There's a gap. A real one. It's not a gap in effort. It's not a gap in intelligence. It's a gap almost every middle-class American falls into without even noticing. A gap between the retirement they're picturing and the retirement their current habits are actually building. And here's what I eventually figured out. Hey, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't wear a suit, and I definitely don't have a corner office. A few years ago, I was the guy who opened his 401k statement, felt a jolt of anxiety, and closed the tab as fast as possible. I told myself I'd deal with it later. Later kept moving. What changed things for me wasn't a magic stock tip. It was one simple realization that I'm about to walk you through. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And honestly, it made retirement feel a lot less scary. So grab a coffee, stick with me, and let's figure this out together, like two friends at a kitchen table, not a lecture hall. Let me introduce you to two people. Let's call them Mark and Denise. Mark and Denise are both 38. They both live in mid-sized American cities. They both make around $65,000 a year. Same neighborhood, similar houses, similar grocery bills. On paper, they look almost identical. But in 27 years, one of them retires with peace of mind. The other one is still checking price tags in the cereal aisle at 65. The difference between them isn't luck. It isn't a rich uncle. It's something so small. Most people walk right past it. Picture two escalators side by side in a busy airport. Mark steps onto the first escalator. At 25, it's already moving. He doesn't have to do much. He just has to stand on it and let it carry him upward. That escalator is compound growth inside a 401k and a Roth IRA started early. Denise steps onto the second escalator, but it's broken. So instead, she has to climb a staircase, one step at a time, later in life, working twice as hard just to reach the same floor. Denise isn't lazy. She isn't careless. Life happened. Student loans, a layoff during a rough economy, a few years where retirement felt like a luxury she couldn't afford to think about. That's the first thing you need to understand about this gap. It's rarely about who tries hardest. It's about who starts moving first. Fear removed. You don't need to be a genius or a Wall Street insider. You just need to understand which escalator you're standing on. Here's a number that stops people cold. According to the Federal Reserve's most recent survey of consumer finances, the median retirement account balance for American households sits at roughly $87,000. Not the amount people wish they had, not the amount financial gurus recommend. The actual, real, middle-of-the-pack number for the country. Meanwhile, surveys tracking what Americans believe they'll actually need to retire comfortably put that magic number north of $1.4 million. Let that sink in. That's not a small gap. That's not a rounding error. That's the canyon between where most people are standing and where they need to land. This is level 2, and here's what it explains. The anxiety you feel isn't irrational. It isn't money mindset nonsense. It's your brain correctly sensing a real, measurable distance between your current trajectory and your future needs. But, and this matters, awareness of the gap is not the same as being doomed by it. Awareness is the first rung on the staircase. You'd think a gap this big would be obvious. It isn't. And here's why. The gap grows quietly. It doesn't show up as a dramatic event. It shows up as a series of forgettable Tuesdays. It's the year you meant to bump your 401k contribution by 1%, but never got around to it. It's the promotion that came with a bigger paycheck, but somehow not a bigger savings rate. It's the old catch up next year that got repeated for a decade. Meanwhile, Social Security, the safety net most Americans assume will carry more weight than it actually can, currently pays out an average retirement benefit of under $2,000 a month. That's not nothing, but for most people, it was never designed to be a full retirement income. It was designed to be one leg of a three-legged stool: Social Security, personal savings, and increasingly rare, a pension. For a lot of middle-class Americans, two of those three legs are wobbly or missing entirely. That's why the gap sneaks up. It's not one bad decision, it's 1,000 tiny, forgivable, human decisions that quietly compound in the wrong direction. The same way Mark's escalator quietly compounds in the right one. Let's make this real with numbers, because vague fear helps nobody. Concrete numbers do. Say Mark starts contributing $300 a month into his 401k at age 25, and his employer matches half of that. Assume a long-term average return around 7%. Year 1, age 25, he contributes $3,600. Employer adds $1,800. His account grows toward roughly $5,700 by age 35. Consistent contributions plus growth put him around $65,000. By age 45, the snowball effect kicks in hard, and he's closer to $190,000 by age 65 with the same steady habit and market growth. Mark is sitting near $610,000. Think about that for a moment. He just let time do what time does. Now, here's Denise. She starts the same $300 a month habit, but not until age 45, after finally getting her finances stable. By age 55, roughly $90,000. By age 65, roughly $190,000. Same monthly contribution, same rate of return, same discipline, arguably more discipline, because she's squeezing saving into a busier, more expensive stage of life. The difference at retirement, over $400,000. Read that again. Not because Denise did anything wrong, because she started 20 years later. And 20 years is where compounding does its quiet, invisible work. This is the $430,000 gap most middle-class Americans never see coming. Not a gap caused by bad choices, but a gap caused by time itself, working for one person and against the other. Here's what nobody talks about. But the real reason most people fall into this gap isn't math. It's that nobody ever sat them down and said plainly, the years you wait are more expensive than the money you're waiting to have. We're taught to fear debt. We're taught to fear market crashes. Nobody ever teaches us to fear the calendar, that the calendar is the real cost. Every year you delay isn't just a missed contribution, it's a missed decade of that contribution, compounding on itself. This is uncomfortable because it means the later excuse, which feels so reasonable in the moment, is actually the most expensive decision most people make without realizing it. So, how do you actually survive this if you're already behind? Because let's be honest, a lot of you watching this are thinking about Denise's staircase, not Mark's escalator. I think the honest answer is this. You don't need to catch up to Mark. You need to build the best version of Denise's story. A few things that actually help. First, automate before you optimize. Don't wait until you find the perfect investment strategy. Set up an automatic contribution today, even a small one, and increase it later. Motion beats perfection. Second, use catch-up contributions if you're 50 or older. Tax code actually rewards late starters with higher contribution limits in your 401k and IRA specifically because lawmakers know this gap exists. It's one of the few places the system meets you halfway. Third, separate your self-worth from your account balance. This one is emotional, not financial, but it matters just as much. Falling behind doesn't mean you failed at life. It means you're human, living in an economy that didn't always make saving easy. You're not trying to win a race against Mark. You're trying to build the strongest possible staircase from exactly where you're standing. Let's get specific, because save more isn't advice. It's a slogan. If you're in your 30s or early 40s, your action step is simple. Increase your 401k or Roth IRA contribution by just 1% this month, not 10%. Just 1%. You genuinely won't feel it in your paycheck. Your mindset shift. You are not behind. You are Mark, standing at the base of the escalator, deciding whether to step on today or tomorrow. Step on today. If you're in your 50s, your action step is to open or max out your catch-up contributions this year. Get a real number in front of you, not a guess, an actual projection of what you'll have at 65. Your mindset shift. This decade isn't your last chance. It's your loudest chance. The urgency you feel is useful. Let it move you, not paralyze you. If you're in your 60s or a late starter, your action step is to have an honest conversation about your Social Security claiming strategy, since delaying benefits even a few years can meaningfully raise your monthly payment for life, and to look hard at reducing fixed expenses before retirement, not after. Your mindset shift. Retirement isn't a finish line you either cross or fail to cross. It's a phase you can shape, even now, by adjusting the pieces still in your control. It looks like a wall from far away, but up close, lie, ghosts, just made of ordinary days, the kind of days you're living right now. Mark didn't win because he was smarter than Denise. Denise didn't fall behind because she was careless. They're both just people, standing on different parts of the same staircase at different points in time. The good news buried inside all of this is quietly hopeful. The gap was built one small decision at a time, which means it can also be closed one small decision at a time. You don't have to fix your entire retirement today. You just have to take one step on whichever escalator or staircase you happen to be standing on right now. If this helped you see your own retirement a little more clearly, consider subscribing. I'm making more videos like this one, breaking down the real numbers behind 401 keys, Social Security, and building a retirement you don't have to be afraid of. I'll see you in the next one.